I figured I'd pop on here now because I was just spending the last 15 or 20 minutes, and probably all last night, trying to wrap my head around digital versus analog synthesizers, and I started going down a rabbit hole with the Astrolab from Arturia. Then I started going down a rabbit hole with the Roland Jupiter X. And I remember I saw the Roland Jupiter X a while back, like a long time ago, and I was like, oh man, this thing is gorgeous. And then I remember seeing the Juno X, and I was like, oh man, this thing is gorgeous. And then I remember hearing the sounds, and I was like, these two synthesizers are absolutely epic sounding. What's up, Faniel? So then I'm like all gassed up from the Moog Muse there last week. Like, so much gas for that thing, it was crazy. And what's up? And then I'm so gassed up for the Polybrute 12. And these things are analog behemoths, 12 voices of analog. Then you got the Moog Muse with 8 voices of analog, super power analog synthesizers, you know? These things get so hot, I think someone even fried an egg on the Moog Muse the other day. He showed me the temperature of it, and it was like 47.5 degrees Celsius or something is what the Moog Muse was. I guess that was Celsius. I don't know, but anyways, point being, these analogs sound amazing. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely fantastic. Sounds so freaking crazy, I almost went and spent $3,500 on a synthesizer. Okay? What's up, Mark? I almost spent $3,500 on a synthesizer. And then my crazy brain was like, oh, why don't I go spend $4,000 on a synthesizer? So I had to pump the brakes, man. And then I was like, wait a minute. Why are these analog synthesizers so much money? You know? Why are they so much money? And then I started going and checking out a bunch of digital synthesizers, which are cheaper. And don't get me wrong, I got the HydroSynth Deluxe, so I know how much superpower can be packed into one of these machines, you know? And I'm a synth baby, so I'm not tied to any of this analog nostalgia of the past. I'm not tied to all these flashbacks of moments when, you know, I walked into these studios when I was 13 years old, and there was some legend with a giant beard and long hair cranking on the filter of a mini Moog. So I got to go spend $5,000 on a mini Moog. I'm not that guy. I don't have that type of vibe in me. So I think I'm coming with a different kind of perspective. You know what I mean? I'm new to the whole game here. And I think by being new to the whole game, stick with the stream. Sometimes it cuts in and out. For you guys who are regular, that's SYNTH CAR viewers, you know the deal. We'll get a little, what's up, falling all over the backwards. We get a little choppy, but then we cut back in. So just stick with it. You know, have some patience. Let your ADHD for some other thing, baby, because we stick with the SYNTH CAR. I got to get it up to cruising altitude. But anyways, point being is I don't have analog nostalgia. I didn't grow up with synthesizers. I never even knew about synthesizers until I don't have analog nostalgia. Okay? So let's get that off the table first, because you got to know where I'm coming from. You know, I'm just not shooting off about not liking analog or this, that, and the other. I'm telling you, I don't have analog nostalgia. So my point of view is a little bit different. I think that you can get just as good sounds out of digital. And if digital's cheaper, then why do I want analog? That's the question. Why am I going to spend $2,000 more on an analog synthesizer when I think digital kind of sounds the same? Am I wrong or am I right? Let me know in the comments. Am I wrong or right? Because VSTs sound amazing, and I hate VSTs. I hate VSTs more than anybody on YouTube. All right, if you don't believe me, ask Echo Craft. I hate VSTs more than anybody on YouTube. And they sound absolutely amazing, okay? Can they mimic an analog synthesizer? Yeah, I think they can. Maybe my ears aren't the same as everybody's, man, but I hear it and I'm like, I don't know. So I guess I need to get a Moog Muse here, and I need to get a Jupiter X, and a Juno X and a Hydra synth. And then I'm a digital dog, baby. I'm going digital. I'm off the analog kick. That's what I'm finding out. I just went and watched, in the last 3 days, I watched probably 35 Jupiter X videos. I watched one by this guy. His name is Daniker. I can't remember his first name because I just watched it, but I'll be highlighting it in my show tomorrow. And he was basically doing a demo of the Jupiter X with the new 3.0 upgrade, or firmware upgrade. And he's like, this thing is so crazy, it's fantastic. He showed that the OBX8, I think is what he was showing, with 8 voices in unison and only one voice of the Jupiter X was almost as powerful as 8 voices of analog unison. It was the Jupiter X. I want the Jupiter X. But I heard the Jupiter X is more confusing, so that's annoying. Because you know what? It's time to stop making synthesizers so annoying to use. Sorry, I'm ranting. I had to title it Rant because I'm fired up for 2 reasons. Because I want to make a video when I get home, and I got to mow the damn lawn before I make the video. All right, so that's the problem. That's why I'm so fired up. But anyway, I listened to the Jupiter X. It sounds so friggin' crazy, and it went into the features. You can even set the temperature on the Jupiter X to 35 years ago. Okay, so you want your analog sound? You can go in and set your parameters to 35 years ago on a Jupiter X. The Jupiter X is clocking in at $2,800. Everybody's like, it's a VST in a box, this, that, and the other. But when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, if I buy a crazy expensive analog synthesizer, I don't know, all I hear is horror stories, man, of people's analog synthesizers having to be serviced, like they're going out of style and having issues, and they can overheat, and like, you know, all the glue on the inside burns up, so people got to go and take the glue out. This is the kind of stuff I hear sometimes. I don't know if it's true or not, but you know, that's what I'm hearing. So, is analog better? I'm not convinced yet. I'm not convinced. Can digital synthesizers recreate analog sounds? I think that's already proven that it can. Can it accommodate for that beautiful warmth and natural detuning you get from an analog synthesizer? Can digital synthesizers have vintage modes and these parameters of temperature adjustments where it can mimic the sound that you would get out of a analog synthesizer? That's the question. And at the moment, my answer is, yeah, I think it can. That's what I think. I think it can, man. Because I'm almost not even seeing the point of analog synthesizers anymore. This is kind of where I'm getting to. After going down a rabbit hole of watching a load of videos on digital synthesizers, I'm starting to get turned off at the price tag of some of these analogs. Like, we're talking $4,000. We're talking $3,500. We're talking $5,000 for a one-voice mini Moog from Moog. Are you joking? Then we're talking Moog 1, $10,000. Like, these prices are starting to freak me out a little bit. Cause I'm starting to get trapped into be like, maybe I should scrounge up $5,000 for a synthesizer. And then I'm like, well, I don't really like VSTs, so are there digital synthesizers that can actually create a sound experience as equal to analog? And after watching the Jupiter X videos, I don't know if I said XM, I mean X, because the XM's too small. But after watching the Jupiter X videos, yeah, that thing sounds so crazy. So I'm going to do a little deep dive tomorrow. I'll have the call-in show tomorrow morning, 8:15 a.m., oscillators and percolators. Going to watch a bunch of Jupiter X videos together, and then you guys can call in and give me your opinion. I might even do a call-in show tonight if I can get the damn lawn mowed, but and then eat dinner and then do whatever else I got to do before I can get down to my hobbies. What time in the day for hobbies, man? It's crazy. Like, you ever find that you can't squeeze it in? You're just trying to squeeze some damn time in. It's like, I want to get down my synths. Where am I going to squeeze it in? You know? Out here working my ass off so I can get some damn money for some $4,000 synthesizers, and I ain't got no time to use them. Is this real life? Come on, man. So I need to rethink things. $4,000, $5,000. I don't have enough time yet to use a $4,000, $5,000 synthesizer as a hobby. Do you understand me? So I need digital. Digital's for the working man, okay? That's the problem. Digital's made for the working man. Analog was the working man synth. Not anymore. Digital is the new working man synth. Digital synthesizers are for the working man. The working man who works his butt off to scrounge up some cheese so he can go get some instruments and build a little spaceship, so the little bit of precious time he hasn't spent finessing his missus, teaching his kids beautiful life lessons about hunting, fishing, carpentry, fighting, kicking ass. Between those moments, he wants to squeeze in a little synthesizer, okay? And right now, we can't go paying $3,000, $4,000 to squeeze that in right now. Anybody in my kind of zone here? I don't know if you feel me, but my gas is so hard that I'm considering spending it. What do you guys think? I mean, is $3,500 too expensive? Jupiter X sucks. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to do a show on the Novation Peak and the Novation Summit because they're two hybrid synthesizers. I believe digital oscillators, correct me if I'm wrong, digital oscillators, analog filters, Chris Huggett specials. Those are amazing synthesizers. I just think the Jupiter, I read something by Roland the other day. I was scrolling through the, I gotta roll the windows down, it's hot as heck in here. Steam up the windows. The Roland got a new laboratory they're making in Japan, a sound laboratory, they're calling it Sonic Laboratory. And in the Sonic Laboratory, the CEO said, don't chase analog ghosts. And then I started thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting comment from the CEO of Roland, because they went and did the X series with the Juno X and the Jupiter X, built off the backs of the Super 8 plug-in, plug-out system, which apparently people absolutely love. If you want Roland sounds, everybody says get the System 8. Anyway, so they're going and making these gigantic beasts of a synthesizer, all metal encasing, no plastic, built the same as the Muse when it comes to just physicality. But inside it's just a digital. It's a computer inside it. Yeah, the postage stamp screen actually is one reason why I probably wouldn't get a Jupiter X, because of that stupid screen. If you don't mind, go and smash that like button, bow, and subscribe if you're into it. But yeah, that little postage stamp screen. Yeah, the Jupiter X got software too, and after the 3.0 firmware, I heard it really kind of like, man, enough of that stupid postage stamp screen. The Japanese love those little screens, man. I just don't understand it. You know why the Japanese love those screens? Because Japanese were like hardware extraordinaires. Like back in the day when they had the TVs, the Toshibas, the Sonys, they were hardware extraordinaires. And then when the software boom came in, South Korea just went and absolutely stole that bag, man, and just blew them away in software. That's when LG, Samsung, all those companies really started to kick off, and Japan just stuck with the hardware, and they kind of like took forever to catch up. If you go to a lot of Japanese hotels, I've been to Japan a bunch of times, a lot of Japanese hotels, you go in there and it looks like something out of the 80s. Still got these old ass TVs, got all this old ass tech in the hotels, unless you're going to staying in like the Primos in Tokyo. But or maybe I was just being cheap and staying in cheap hotels. I don't know. Could have been either. But for some reason, the Japanese keep this weird workflow, which I'm dreading the Sonicware workflow, but I got to do it. I still haven't opened my Sonicware Ambient Zero box. It's still at the house. I haven't even opened it yet because I opened up the manual and I read through the manual, and I was like, oh my God. So now I'm going to like I'm not doing the friggin' manual. I'm opening the box probably. I'll probably do it Wednesday before I do the stream with Echo. I'll open up the Sonicware box. How I'm going to do my demos is this. I'm doing my demos the same way as Anderton's Jack does his. I want to do it like I just walked into the music store, sat down at the synth, and see if I can work it. That usually gives me a good gauge for my personality type if this synth is for me. So if I can sit down with the Sonicware Ambient Zero tomorrow, and if that can just, or Wednesday, if that can inspire me like crazy, then then that's what I'm doing. But right now, baby, I got Jupiter X fever. Astrolab fever's gone. Moog Muse fever's gone. I got Jupiter X fever. So somebody needs to convince me not to get, excuse me, a Jupiter X. Because even a Jupiter X is like, I think I looked at them used today for $2,000. $2,000 for me is doable. That's very doable. Not right yet, but I'm getting there, man. I'm about 58% able to get a Jupiter X right now. It's digital. I love digital. I'm starting to think I love digital. You can't say digital sucks because you just can't say digital sucks. I don't think you can. I think you could say digital sucks, but I don't think today you can say digital sucks. You just can't. How are you going to say digital sucks? I need a better explanation. You can't just say digital sucks because I got a Hydrasynth and that thing, you know what that does? That sucks the life out of analog because the Hydrasynth, you can make the Hydrasynth sound so analog that it'll make your heart stop. That's how analog you can make the Hydrasynth sound. It's got heart-stopping ability to sound analog, you know? And I was even thinking the other day I should go buy the UBXA Behringer desktop for $799. 16 voices of analog power. But then I'm like, you know what? I ain't synthesizers ever again unless they got effects built into them. And a lot of people were like, oh man, I don't like when they put effects in synthesizers. I prefer to use all my DAWs and my onboard or my rack mount effects because they're so much better than the built-in effects in synthesizers. And I'm like, fine, all right, say what you want. That's cool, but for me personally, I love when a synthesizer has built-in effects. I love it. TE-05, all right. This is my decision. This is where I gotta go. I gotta get the TE-05, which is top of the gas list, because I can afford it. It's in sight. I can almost freaking touch it. But then the Jupiter X just swooped in because I went on this Astrolab tangent. And then the Astrolab, I was like, I can't do the Astrolab. It's too expensive for what you get, and I just can't do it. But I thought it'd be cool to add to my Live Jam rig. So now I'm on this Jupiter X kick because it looks amazing. Sounds freaking crazy. It's got a really brutal screen. You know, so maybe I'll go back to TE-05. TE-05 to me could be one of for price point, features, and sound, it might be the perfect synthesizer. It just might be perfect. I don't know. I'd like to see, well, you know what I would like to see? I would like to see Oberheim and Sequential and Moog come out with some really interesting digital hybrids or fully digital synthesizer. Like, I'd love to see Oberheim come out with a fully digital synthesizer with all of their synths in digital form built into that and sell it for cheaper. Sell a 49 key Oberheim, call it Oberheim X, all digital, maybe even just digital oscillators with an analog filter, analog SEM filter, sell it for like $1,200 and all digital, and it would be absolutely fantastic. Get a sequential, do an absolutely epic sequential, you know, use your Curtis filters, throw some ladder filters on there, but do a ton of digital oscillators and give it to us for a price that the regular man can afford. I don't want to have to go convincing my missus that we can't go on vacation Christmas because I just want to buy a Moog Muse, all right? When for the price of a Moog Muse, I can get an all-inclusive trip to Cancun for me and my baby. Luxury hotel, 14 days, probably 11 days, 7 to 14 days for $3,500. All-inclusive. All-inclusive. That means food, that means refreshments, and that means fun. All right? So, I mean, come on, man. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? You know, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be like, baby, I just bought that Moog Muse for $3,500. I'm thinking about getting that Polybrew 12 for another $5,000. So that's about 9,000 deep, beautiful. Now, here, put on these VR glasses I just picked up from Amazon for $100 and jam your phone in it, and we're gonna pretend we're in Cancun, all right, baby? And while we're doing that, I'm gonna play some Moog Muse pads in the background. Is that, can I swing something like that? I don't know. I don't think so. But I really thank you guys for listening to me, because now I think that I'm back to the TE-05. I think I've talked my way around to the TE-05, and unless I watch oscillators and percolators tomorrow morning, and or not watch it, do it, and the Jupiter X really inspires me, that means I have to come up with another $500 for something used. And you know what? The TE-05 is good size. Fits right. I could put the TE-05 right on the left-hand side of my Hydrasynth. All right? So that means right in that big old spot where they put nothing in that space, I'm pretty sure a TE-05 would fit right there. So then I got my Hydrasynth Deluxe and a TE-05, stack-a-dackle, a Stackrodiliac with the Hydrasynth Deluxe and the TE-05. Oh my God. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I don't know. But the point is, I haven't been able to pinpoint the crazy difference. Wait for the UBXA desktop. Problem with the UBXA desktop, this is what got me off of the I really thank for your help, Hayes. What got me off the UBXA desktop is it doesn't have built-in effects. I know that sounds crazy, but listen, when I listen to the TE-05, the onboard effects in that are so awesome. I'm like, Uli, snap out of it, brother. Why are you doing these dumb clones when you can do a UBXA desktop and put a ton of Clark Technic effects in there? Just for us effects dogs out here, man, who want some effects. Like, put some effects in it, man. Yeah. I don't know, man. Peak in the Summit. I heard Peak and the Summit have great effects. The Hydrasynth got great effects, but I did hear that the Peak and the Summit have better effects. But Prophet Rev 2 got lots of effects too, but I can't get the Prophet Rev 2. Synth Punk loves the Pro 3 and the Prophet Rev 2 so much that I cannot buy them because he loves them so much. I just can't, because I have to wait and see. If he gets rid of one, he doesn't like it. So the Synth Punk, if you're listening, I know your game, brother. When you get rid of a synth, you don't like it anymore. But when you got it, you love it. I'm on to you. I'm on to your game. So I had to be very careful about your recommendations, because I know if I buy a Pro 3, next week you'll sell it and have a TE-05, and you'll love the TE-05, and then I'll be stuck with a friggin' Pro 3. So I got to be careful, you know? It's like snakes and ladders, this synth game, you know? You find a ladder and then suddenly you get zipped down a snake and you're like, damn it! What am I thinking? You know? Korg Prologue. Korg Prologue's cool. I thought about getting that a bunch of times. That's good value synth for money. But I know they're coming with the Korg Prologue Mark II. So Korg Prologue Mark II with polyphonic aftertouch, a super upgraded effects suite, 8 and 16 voice most likely, and I think it's going to be awesome. Yeah, but I might end up getting the Moog Muse. I don't know. I'm all over the place. And listen, don't go in these comments and acting all crazy and be like, Synth Samurai, you just really need to sit down and you need to think of what you really want. You're all over the place, Samurai. You just really need to blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. I just like sounds. I like synthesizers. So I don't care that much what I need. I care about what I want. And when I want it, that's all that happens. You know, I'm a polyamorous synth lover. I got to open that Sonicware and I still got to play it. And it might have been a mistake, but you know what? I don't look at mistakes as mistakes. I look at mistakes as learning lessons. So if along the way here, but I don't want to sell anything. I want to keep it all. I'm in love with your Moog Muse. Everybody out there who got a Moog Muse, I'm in love with your Moog Muse. That's what's crazy. Oh, the Moog Muse still got me sprung. Don't get me started. I need the Hydra synth to come out with a Hydra drum. That's what I'm waiting for. A Hydra drum to go right there where that TE-05 might go. That's what I'm thinking, the Hydra drum, man. Can you imagine they do a Hydra drum with hurdy-gurdy sounds? Oh, if they did a Hydra drum with the hurdy-gurdy and the Georgian chants and those big Japanese huge, like, boom, 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 you know, like the old Pride fighting events. All right, I'm heading into unknown territory. Thank you for joining me for that Synth CAR rant. Analog versus digital, still undecided. But I think digital's just as good. That's just me. All right, baby. Slow, slow.